Ghost ships, hostages, and a ticking clock. Part 2. We burned out of Helix Drift. Shadow on a vector that shaved another half day off the clock, but the second wind was starting to sound like a chain smoker with asthma. 2 days left, maybe less. Helix had been a bust in the worst way. No hot steggies, just another stencil 24 left. Art requires sacrifice, and a data spike with a partial manifest. Names, faces, my wife's, my brother's, Aunt Clara's got a full scarf, even visible in one grainy frame, but no location. Just a cryptic relay ping bouncing toward the Cordward New Avalon dock, the busiest hub this side of Seoul. A needle in a haystack made of needles. Harlan didn't rant. Just stood in the middle of the cockpit, staring at the nav plot like it owed him money, that tired smile gone flat. One more stop, he said finally. Grimshaw's Reach, old smuggler's asteroid. If anyone's heard whispers about a psycho-playing artist with lives, it'll be there. Bear grunted approval. Grimshaw's full of rats who will sell their own mothers for a warm bulb of rotgut. Doc, and half of me for patching holes they earned being stupid. Whisper, perfect. I didn't argue. Clock was king. Grimshaw's Reach was a honeycomb asteroid riddled with tunnels, black market docks, and bars that never closed because time was whatever the owner said it was. We came in quiet, transponders spoofed as a junk hauler, docked in the lower levels where the air tasted like regret and ozone. The bar was called the Last Breath Fitting. Dim red lights, haze of vape smoke, the kind of place where deals went down and boadies went out, the airlock without paperwork. We barely got drinks before the whispers started. Harlan didn't sit, just stood in the middle of the room like he owned gravity itself, sipping his bulb slow, eyes scanning faces. Folks shifted, avoided eye contact, knew the myth when they saw it. Bear leaned against the bar, arms crossed, looking like a bulkhead that grew a beard. Doc nursed something clear and lethal. Whisper melted into a shadow booth. I kept my hand near my sidearm, marine training itching under my skin. Then it kicked off. 3 hard cases and mismatched arm or obvious muscle pushed through the crowd toward a back booth. One had the scarred left hand. Mask off. No, its face like a bad weld job. Harlan didn't move. Just waited till Scarhand was 10 feet away, then spoke soft. Evening, artist. Your exhibit running behind schedule. Scarhand froze. Hand twitched toward his holster. Room went dead quiet. Bear sighed. Here we go. Scarhand's buddies spread out. Bar patrons suddenly found reasons to be elsewhere. Scarhand sneered. You're late, preacher. The symphony's already composed. All those lives, releasing their energy at once. Beautiful, pure, a bloom of souls lighting the void like a supernova. New Avalon's old fusion, core perfect stage. Timed for the eclipse. You'll see the light from a light year out. Harlan tilted his head. Psycho with a poetry degree. Adorable. Scarhand went for his gun. Hell broke. Idov left. Rolled, came up firing stunner rounds, cracking blue, dropped one goon cold. Bear roared, grabbed a table, used it as shield and battering ram folded another thug like cheap origami before slamming him into the bar. Wood splintered, bottles rained. Doc was a blur scalpel in one hand, hypospray in the other, jabbed one attacker with something that made him drop screaming, clutching his throat. Allergic to losing, she muttered. Whisper 3 shots from the shadows, precise, silent. 2 knees gone. Bad guys crawling. Harlan just walked forward through the storm, untouched, like the bullets were polite enough to miss. Grabbed Scarhand by the throat, mid-draw, slammed him against the wall, held him there one-handed while the man choked. Location, Harlan said, voice calm as deep space. Exact dock, exact bay, or I let the Marines play. Scarhand laughed. Blood, bay ... 47 sub-level old reactor access. You'll be, too late. The conductor's baton falls ... at eclipse. Harlan's eyes went cold. How many guards? Scarhand grinned red. Enough. Then his eyes rolled back. Self-talk's capsule. Dead in seconds. Room stank of ozone, blood, spilled liquor. Bear wiped his hands. Well, that was therapeutic. Doc knelt by a twitching goon. Checked pulse. This one alive barely. Whisper already slicing data from Scarhand's pad. Confers New Avalon Bay 47. Reactor chamber rigged with charges. Timed release. I stood there, chest heaving, staring at the body. Eclipse was 36 hours out, 1.5 days. Harlan released the corpse, let it slide down the wall. That tired smile returned, but darker now. Somber, like he'd seen this punchline before. Core world doc, he said, quiet, crowded, complicated, but we got the ticket. Bear and a psycho who thinks death's performance art. Doc, romantic, in a needs frontal lobotomy way. Whisper, we'll oblige. We burned out of Grimshaw's hotlarms wailing behind us, but nobody chasing. New Avalon loomed a glittering core jewel. Docks crawling with security, civilians, commerce. Bay 47, sub-level old reactor 24 souls wired to bloom. We came in dark, spoofed IDs, docked civilian, slipped through maintenance shafts like ghosts, tension thick as hull plating. No chatter now. No jokes. Just the soft click of mag boots, the hum of the station. My heartbeat counting down. We reached the outer seal to Bay 47 massive blast door, guarded by 2 sentries in black armor. Beyond faint light, muffled sounds, voices, or just imagination. Harlan held up a fist. Stop. He looked at US Bear's grim nod, Doc's steady gaze, whispers silent, ready, my own clenched jaw. Clock's almost up, he whispered, whatever's inside, ... We go in hot. No hesitation. I swallowed, nodded. We stacked on the door. No details through the viewport, just shadows and that sickly glow. 1 breath, 2. Harlan's hand on the override. We were here, but what waited on the other side? The rider was close, and this time, we weren't sure who he was coming for. Override hissed. Door slid open into Hell's own gallery. Harlan moved first, no signal. No hesitation, like he'd rehearsed this nightmare in whatever dark place myths come from. Stunner in right hand, sidearm left. He flowed through the breach point, fluid and lethal. Guards spun 8 on the floor level, more on catwalks, black armor glinting under the sickly light. Harlan didn't slow. Double tapped to the nearest guards, Visicrack blew down. Pivot, low, slide under a burst. Knee shot the second before the body hit deck. Surge swung wild. Harlan was already inside. Muzzle pressed. Stunned round, point blank. It wasn't a fight. It was a CQB speed trial, and Harlan was shaving seconds off the Devil's record. Clear left flank, he barked. Voice steady as a chapel bell, already pushing deeper toward the central dais. We flooded in, Bear roaring like a breaching ram, Doc flanking, smooth and deadly, Whisper vanishing high, me beelining for the pods. The chamber was a cavernous 2-mold fusion core pit, catwalks ringing the void where the reactor once burned. Now, endless rows of restraint pods glowing faint green, hundreds of them, captives hooked to IVs and biomonitors. Vitals synced to the massive charge rig in the center, red pulse building like a heartbeat. Huge holodemer on the far wall. 0 hours, 12 minutes and 47 seconds till eclipse detonation. Guards swarmed 25-30 rifles up, shouting coordinates. Hell broke loose. I dove right, rolled behind a pod bank, came up firing stunners, cracking blue arcs. Dropped too cold. Morania's pushing center cover. The captives. Bear charged straight down main aisle like a bulkhead on legs, soaking bursts on his plate. Grabbed a guard by the vest, headbutted him into oblivion. Come on, you sorry bastards. He snatched another's rifle mid-swing, used it as a club-cracked helmet, folded the man like a cheap Wallace, that's for breathing my air. Doc danced through the chaos, scalpel, flashing one hand, hypospray the other. Jabbed a rushing guard in the neck, man dropped, clawing his throat. Allergic to bullets, she deadpanned. Already moving to the next. And losing. Whisper perched catwalk high, rifle popping precise, death headshot, shoulder, leg, 4 down, reloading, click more cracks 8. Timer, 0 hours 9 minutes and 31 seconds deeper. Harlan carved toward the dais like Moses parting red seas of gunfire. A tall figure stood there, robed black, porcelain mask gleaming, scarred hands waving over holographic vitals like a maestro mid-crescendo. The conductor. Harlan raised both weapons. Show's over, maestro. Conductor turned, voice echoing mad through the chamber speakers. Preacher, you came for the finale. All these souls releasing together. Pure energy bloom. God's flashbulb across the void. Harlan fired stunner and lethal alternating. Conductor dodged fluid hit, a side panel. Emergency hatch irised behind him. Escape pod humming ready. Harlan sprinted, vaulting railing, dropping 3 guards, mid-leap snapshots, but he's tumbling. Not today, you saw. He slammed the dais, bullets sparking off the shield bubble. Conductor laughed, diving into the pod. Harlan roared, raw furious, emptied both mags into the closing hatch. Sparks flew. Too late. Pod jettisoned. Thrusters flaring into traffic. Harlan slammed the console, fist first, denting metal. Damn it all to hell. Knotting a knot on my watch. Remaining guards rallied to spread, now pouring fire. Timer, 0 hours 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Bear took a graze across the arm, growled. Charged a cluster, folding another like a cheap wallet with a massive haymaker. Keep shooting, boys. Makes the hugs hurt more. Doc dragged a fallen captive clear, patched a bleeder mid-firefight. Stay with me. Civilian party's not over. Whisper dropped more from above. Flanks thinning. Push. I sliced restraints, frantic pod after pod. Go Jex, it's that way. Found my Wi-Fi's locked. Rourke, odd move. Love. Tell you later. Shoved her toward the breach with the others. Timer, 0 hours 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Whisper slid down a ladder, hit the charge rig like a demon possessed. Tools out, fingers flying, snip, strip, reroute, interlocks on vitals. Biofeedback loop, cut wrong. Boom, early. Bear covered his 6, slugging a guard off the platform and screamed all the way down. No pressure. Ghost, just the usual apocalypse. Doc stitched fire from the side, dropping rushes. Work faster or we're all abstract art. Timer. 0 hours 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Alarms wailed. Red light strobed. Captives streaming out. Hundreds stumbling, crying. Free. 0 hours 1 minute and 47 seconds. Whisper sweat slick. Cursing steady. Bypass holding ... almost ... A final guard lunge bear intercepted. Wallet folded him into the rig casing. Not today, jarhead wannabe. 0 hours 0 minutes and 58 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 37 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 19 seconds. Whisper's voice tight. Got it, you're out. Complete defuse in 3 ... 0 hours 0 minutes and 7 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 4 seconds. 0 hours 0 minutes and 3 seconds. Click. Rig powered down. Pulse died. Silence crashed like a wave. Whisper slumped back. Exhaled shaky. 3 seconds left. Movies always do one. Amateurs. Bear barked a laugh. Doc. Relieved. Ghost. You magnificent bastard. Buy you the galaxy. Doc. Patching a graze on her arm. Make it non-alcoholic. Some of us have standards. Laughter. Ripple draw. Edged with leftover terror. We freed the last hundreds pouring out. Alive because Whisper danced with death and won. But on the dais black left in the rush. Conductor's alias. Maestro Voss. Symbol beneath. White rider on pale horse. Harlan stared. Face thunder. I walked up, chest heaving. We saved them hundreds. That's the win. He nodded slow. Voice low. Today's win. But Maestro Voss, he's composing a bigger symphony. Bear, then we crashed the concert. Doc. With extreme prejudice. Whisper. Next movement starts now. Somewhere out in the black, a porcelain mask was already smiling. And the real finale hadn't even begun. To be continued.